Arkansas, for Arkansas. This is Inside Arkansas Live.
And welcome into Inside Arkansas Live here on this beautiful day here in the great state of California. I'm your host, John Neighbors, alongside Curtis Wilkerson and Andrew Ellis, and appreciate each and every one of you for making us a part of your afternoon this afternoon as we are live here from Splash Sports Bar right next door to the Chase Center. You can't see from the lighting just yet, but I guarantee you once the sun continues to go down, you'll be able to see it. But we are having an awesome setup right up here. Could not be better. Weather's pretty nice, a little windy, a little chilly, but fellas, it's been a long day, a great day, an awesome day, but here we are once again together on Inside Arkansas Live. How are we feeling?
I feel great, man. I mean, isn't this great?
It's hard to beat.
It really, really is. I'm already having a better time than I did 2 years ago, and I had a great time on that trip, but this just hits a little bit different, man. The vibes are immaculate down here. The Chase Center, still awesome. Just
great,
as a basketball venue. I mean, the place is state of the art. It's incredible. You walk out the door and you got a view of the bay, you know, right there. I just walked around and did a little scenic tour on the pod at the Palace that'll go out in the morning, so everybody can enjoy that. But this is really good, man. And all the teams in here were practicing and doing press conference and locker room interviews today. So we always call these Wednesdays before the NCAA tournament games our vibe check days. And once again, I felt like the Razorbacks passed the vibe check, but it was a little bit of a different vibe than what we experienced in Providence, and I'm sure we'll talk about that as we move forward. But good stuff today.
Yeah, you know, the place that we're doing this at, by the way, is completely sick. And like you said, John, the Chase Center is, I mean, we could literally, they say a stone's throw.
Yeah.
I could easily throw a stone through the windows right here. The view we have doesn't even do it justice how awesome this little area is around the Chase Center. I mean, I knew it's a brand new arena. Of course, you guys have been here before. You know the lay of the land. I had pretty high expectations for what it'd be like. I love this area down here, like this little, I don't even know if you can call it downtown because there's an actual downtown San Francisco that's a lot less nice than this. But it's pretty awesome around here. Thrive City is what they call it. And it's just the perfect stage for Arkansas to be on. Could not be more excited. And I'll tell you what it doesn't feel like out here. It does not feel like Arkansas is playing their last game of the season tomorrow night. I just don't get that feel at all. I don't think it is.
I don't think it is. I think this is going to be a full weekend of basketball for the Razorbacks. That's how we're feeling. But it does happen tomorrow. Which, by the way, folks, since we're here at Splash, we're going to be here again tomorrow at noon local time. And trust me, it will be at noon local time. People have been talking about our schedules and how crazy it is. But it will be here at noon for Inside Arkansas Live. And then the post-game show for Pod at the Palace will be happening right after the game, also here at Splash.
By the way, when you say local time, you mean local to here. Like for y'all.
Well, that's what you say, yeah. And then once you say it for like wherever you're at.
I would also go ahead and throw in 2 p.m. for you, for everyone listening.
Well, because what if they're on the East Coast? We have a lot of East Coast people, though.
Well, then it'll be
figure it out.
3 p.m. or whatever.
Yeah, figure it out, hit the bell, and that's when we're going to be on. But it's going to be awesome to be here. And, it's been great. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff, of course, going on as we got to see a little bit of practice, 15 minutes, solid work. Adou Thiero did not participate, by the way. At least in the 15 minutes we saw. And we did get a few vibes and everything, and I know we'll talk about that. We'll get to your chats. It's a Remember Wednesday presented by Fayetteville Fly Coast. So we'll have some Remember wins that we'll get into. We'll have also a little bit of a SARACEN update because they got some good stuff going on over there. We're going to get to everything, folks. We'll work through it. I promise you that. But, Curtis, you mentioned the vibes for Arkansas, and there were a few players that really stood out in the practice, and it's just a practice and everything. But how about Nelly Davis, man? Nelly Davis out here draining threes like nobody's business. And I don't know what the drill's called. And maybe you do, Curtis. Maybe you know what the drill's called. Maybe, but there's basically where they're hitting threes from certain sides, and it's him and two other players. And it was him as well as Billy Richmond and then the other player.
Jaden Carlett.
Yeah, that guy. And, you basically have to rotate in and out and who can hit threes. And those guys weren't hitting them, but Nelly kept hitting all of them. And he was counting out loud of how many he hit in a row. And we were able to film it, and it's on our Inside Arkansas highlights, if you want to call it that, from practice. But, man, Nelly didn't miss much.
No.
And he was very confident. He was very vocal. He was very into it. But, if you're just basing off of him alone, he was completely and totally locked into this team right now.
Yeah, he absolutely was, and he was also yelling at Billy and Jaden, who were. It was almost like it was a competition on either side of the floor, and so it was those three, and then the other three guards on the other side. It seemed like they were like trying to do the first to 20 or whatever was kind of the drill, and he was making all of his. And in fairness, like I thought Billy shot it pretty well today
Barely.
too. Jaden's always been a pretty good shooter. That's kind of his thing, but when those dudes miss, he's like, "Yo, like, what is going on here?" But I was really impressed with Nelly, and it wasn't just because of the shot making that he had there. We mentioned how the vibes are a little bit different than last week against Providence, although they were still good. When we were in Providence, Arkansas practiced at a different college, and then they came over to the arena, and it was like an open to the public, 30-minute shoot around, haha, giggle, giggle. It was very lighthearted, right? And it was awesome. But they did their full practice here today at the Chase Center, and media got to watch the first 15 minutes of it. So they stretched, they loosened up the legs a little bit, and then they got straight to work and straight to business with their drills, guards on one end, bigs on the other. And what impressed me about Nelly is that dude was he was dripping sweat in the 15 minutes that we were in there. Every single thing he did was at game speed. Every rep he took was a game rep. He was really, really getting after it, and yeah, he was shooting the crap out of it. It was really impressive. I've been waiting to see that from Nelly in a game. And how many times have we heard like, oh, he's always in there on the Noah, and the dude takes 1,000 shots a day or whatever.
Yeah.
And now to be able to see that work ethic like in person up close, I was like, wow, really impressed with this dude. And if he goes out there and shoots 0 of 11 from 3 tomorrow, it's not our fault. He did what he did at practice today, and I was impressed.
I think it's cool how you said it's, this is obviously a little bit more of a structured actual practice, but good to see Nelly shooting it freely, shooting it loose. And I think that's the one thing, anytime like we're ever around the team, I'm just always blown away by how relaxed they all seem, like how much of a, loose vibe. They're always having fun. So it's cool to see them knocking down shots in this arena already, feeling like, hey, maybe it's just the way Steph Curry's magic works. Everyone just shoots the lights out in this arena. Maybe they had that in the back of their minds, but it's cool. You want to see these guys get comfortable, like we've been saying all the time, being in these big moments, being on these big stages. Hogs have kind of thrived in these settings, and so to kind of capture that vibe already today, that this team feels comfortable, they're ready to come in here and light it up. They're going to need to score in this matchup. There's no secret about that, but I think it's going to be awesome if this team right off the bat tomorrow is comfortable. We're not going to be surprised at all if they get off to a fast start. They like playing in this arena. They like playing on these stages, and that's just the vibe you always get around these guys.
Or as Carter Knox put up there, he's we're going to come in here with the vibe of kill, celebrate, kill again, celebrate again. That's the vibe that they're having, man, and they're going to make it work. So, but yeah, it's exciting, man. It's exciting to be here. It's exciting to see the team and the approach that they have. And tomorrow night, 7:00, 7:07 or 7:09 here Pacific time is when it's all going to go down. So it's going to be awesome to see it go down the way it's going to go down, and hopefully the Hogs come out on top. And it's just exciting. But the big thing, of course, has been Adou Thiero. It's a matter of, is he going to play? Is he not going to play? Because, of course, as was reported, he's going to participate in everything. And then you had Cal kind of come out on his press conference. And not to say that he said he's not playing, but it was like, that wasn't what I wanted to hear. It's like, oh, is his legs hurting? He's not doing well. No, I don't like that. I wanted to hear how great he is and how he's fitting right in and he's picking up right where he left off. But now it becomes the ultimate question where, tomorrow the game's going to happen no matter what. And can they win without Thiero? Sure, because they've won 2 NCAA tournament games without him. But it's certainly the biggest thing that's on everyone's mind of, is Adou Thiero going to play or is he not going to play?
He's going to play.
He's going to play.
Yeah. Part of me at first when we were out there, it was like, they're probably just playing a little bit coy. Like they're just breaking a sweat out here early on. They don't want to put him out there for the media and a bunch of cameras on him and everything. And then when Cal said what he said, and I waited to go in the locker room until we heard that, and I was kind of like, I don't know, that doesn't sound great. But then you go in the locker room and Adou's available to speak to everybody.
Yeah.
And like his vibes were so much better than I felt like than Cal's were, because he was really just like, no, I'm good, man. Like,
good to go.
Just a little sore, and there's something to be said, I think, for, and we talked about the difference between his injury and Boogie's injury, right? Adou hasn't been able to stay in shape. Like, he hasn't been able to run and condition and everything for like a month now. And then he gets out there for a full, like, Sweet 16 prep practice yesterday. That dude is sore today, man. He is sore. and I'm sure that knee was sore and everything. So I would imagine it's rest, recover, get a little treatment, and let's see how you're feeling tomorrow after you're recovered a little bit, and then we'll get you out there. So hey, if he wakes up tomorrow and that knee's really bugging him or whatever, or it's weird in warm-ups, okay, fine. But this strikes me as like precautionary. No need to push it too much. I still think what Cal said yesterday about him being available is going to absolutely be a thing.
I 100%. I think at the absolute very least, he's going to be dressed out, available to play, maybe an emergency type of thing. Like, there's no way he's going to be in street clothes tomorrow.
No.
I just don't see any way that happens. And, of course, look, maybe you dress him out. He gets out there in warm-ups, and he looks shaky, and maybe they're like, all right, maybe we're not going to use him if we don't have to. But I think, honestly, we always talked about the minute count, and there was a big talk about that when Cal went on McAfee's show and started throwing out numbers, all of which seemed to be fairly inaccurate. I think, listen, we can have that conversation about how many minutes he's going to play, and we can all throw out our guesses. I think that nothing changes from what we felt yesterday, which is they're going to put him in there at some point, whether that's at the 12-minute mark, the 8-minute mark, whatever. Hell, it might be at the under 16 media timeout. Who the hell knows? They're going to put him out, and we're going to see how he looks. And at that point, you don't really have time to be locked into like, oh, well, we got to get him 20 minutes or we got to get him 15 or no, let's just go ahead and play him 30. Like, it's going to be determined by what we've said all along. Can he help the team win? And that's going to be the priority. I mean, I know that sounds very simple, but if he's out there and he looks great, they're going to let him cook, I would imagine. Will they still keep an eye on him? Will they still be cautious? Sure, but I think it's all going to kind of be dependent on what he looks like tomorrow when we get out there. I can't remember which player it was. It must have been Carter who was like, I think you were asking him, John, you were like, does he look like his old self or whatever? And Carter was like, we're not going to know until like tomorrow night. Like, we'll find out when we get out there. And it's like, that's kind of the mentality, I hate to say it, but you kind of have to have where you can do all these drills and everything, but when you get out there, we'll just see what he's able to do, what he's able to do. And, that could be a lot, could be a little, but I think they're at the very least going to give it a whirl. Now, if he comes out there and looks shaky and they don't feel good about it, you just take him out. That's how it works.
Yeah, and I'll say this too, because again, folks, we'll get to your chats and everything, but man, it's hard not to feel confident regardless. Like even yes, I want Adou to play. I want Thiero to play, but even if he doesn't, I still feel good. It's not like it's like it all hinges on Adou Thiero. The season is on the line because of Adou Thiero. It's more of like a bonus. Like if he plays, my confidence level just goes up further. It just goes up higher because of what he can do. But this whole situation with Thiero and what's going on with the way that Cal has said it and what he's doing, that is so a great representation of what this season has been about. We hear things, we kind of think things, we say like, oh, okay, we feel like this is going to happen, but then we're like, wait, will it happen? But then it doesn't happen, and then it's smoke and mirror. I don't know what to think of it. It's almost like I'm at the point, let's just see if he plays on the tomorrow night, okay, great. But I'm not going to sit here and beat my brains out. Is he going to play? I mean, geez, if he doesn't, what happens? What are we going to do here? I mean, it's just all over the place. You just never really know what's all going to happen right now.
For sure. It's not you're right. It's not an end-all, be-all. It's not like if Thiero doesn't play, Arkansas is going to lose. This sucks. Yeah. But he does solve a lot of problems if he is able to play. I sit in there and I watched Texas Tech's practice, the 15 minutes that we were able to, just to size them up a little bit. First of all, Arkansas is significantly bigger. They're bigger. They're more athletic. They're taller, longer. All those things are very real. So that's something that Arkansas is going to have to use to their advantage, is their athleticism there. But at that 4 spot with Darian Williams, it's Adou Thiero. I mean, he's just tailor-made for that defensively. Like, it would really help. That dude is thick, man. Like 2 C's thick, 3 C's thick. He's got a lot of ass to him, okay? And so for me, it's like, they'll put Trevin on him or whatever, and that's fine, because how does Trevin counteract that? He's long as hell, right? Yeah. And so he'll be able to shoot over the top of him, impact him, and block some shots, whatever. But Thiero is, he's 6'8", and he's 225 pounds or whatever, chiseled. It just makes a lot more sense there, and I'd like to have that body to throw at him, because I was kind of going in this matchup thinking, well, like if Thiero can't play, and there are things you could do, like Carter might be able to guard him for a short spell. Nope. I would not do that. The dude is too big. So if you can have Thiero for just a little spell here and there to guard that dude, it would really help. If not, whatever. I mean, he's not LeBron James. So
he's not.
Yeah, if you're trying to impose your will physically on someone and really set that tone of, that tough physical, we're bigger than you, we're stronger than you mentality. I can't think of a better person to add to that mix than Adou Thiero, who again just has that. Even athletically, just an imposing athlete to see in person. And so I think it's definitely going to help. But at the end of the day, we always talk about the different guys and they each bring their own different set of skills to the table. But Curtis, I think all that you said applies to this matchup no matter what. Arkansas is going to have somebody kind of set that tone and match up physically with these guys. And so I think regardless of what Adou Thiero can give you, you just need that. And so it's on kind of some of these other guys that could be in those similar situations, whether it's Z, whether it's Trevin, whether it's Carter Knox, whether it's whoever, whether it's Jonas Adou, like they have to all kind of be up for that challenge. And it's up to Adou Thiero, we'll see what his health looks like, but he's going to be attempting to provide Arkansas with some of that spark, and he'll be able to provide what he's going to be able to provide. But all these guys need to be prepared to just do whatever they can. And I think in this matchup, that's what's so cool about this time of year. And we mentioned it with Boogie. You don't really have too much time to worry. Whereas if it's a regular season game, January, February, you can maybe spend a few possessions, few rotations, getting Adou Thiero involved. It's like, look, man, we all just got to go balls to the wall. We got to get after these guys. We just got to punk them. And I think Arkansas obviously is going to be much more equipped to do that with Adou Thiero. But I think that physicality and that height factor that Arkansas has is still going to be prevalent regardless.
Yeah, I just think, I know we'll have more to say about it tomorrow on the actual game day, but just the confidence and the vibes, everything's good right now for Arkansas. Like everything's good. It's in a good spot, which is scary. I get it. It's a very scary thing because you try to sit back and be like, well, if things are too good, if I'm feeling too good, there must be something wrong. There must be something awry. But for this particular case, it's good to feel good. It's good to feel confident about this, and it's good to feel confident about going up against Texas Tech. And again, if Thiero plays, you just got to feel good about it because it's almost like sometimes people forget that he was your best player. Like he was your best player. He's not a scorer, but he was leading you in scoring. You know what I'm saying? Like he can do so many things. How could getting your best player back impact you in a negative way? It never should, and I don't think it will. So even if he only plays 10, 15 minutes, I'm not saying he's going to go out there and hit every shot, and that's fine. But there's just zero reality where I feel like this is going to be a negative thing to get Adou Thiero back. And considering the way Razorbacks have been playing, it's hard for me not to believe that they're going to beat Texas Tech tomorrow night. Plain and simple.
I think they're going to win too. I got to bring you down a peg. I feel like you're way too confident here. It's making me uncomfortable, man. Texas Tech passed the vibe test too today, fellas. I'm just being honest. They just did. They look like they belong. Grant McCasland was calm, cool, and collected. He was the best head coach press conference that they had today. And they're getting one of their best players back too, in Chance McMillan, which they weren't sure about. He's their best guard. He's averaging 14 a game. He shoots 44% from three. He's made a crap ton of them. And he was back out there getting up shots and putting in some work today. So Arkansas is getting a great player back. So is Texas Tech. Arkansas is passing the vibe test. Absolutely. So is Texas Tech. Those guys are really, really good. For what it comes down to me is shot making. If Texas Tech goes out there and makes 13 threes, which they're very capable of, Arkansas either has to match them. And I'm not saying they got to make 13, but for Arkansas, it's like, can you make 8 or 9? Right, and then you're going to be in pretty good shape there, or they've got to clamp down and hold them down from 3. I mean, that's the biggest difference between the two that is in, or maybe the only difference in the two that goes in favor for Texas Tech, because they shoot the crap out of it, and Arkansas doesn't. Arkansas is better defensively. They're better on the glass. They have better athletes. They're more physical. All those things work in their favor, but the great equalizer is the three-point shot. And that's kind of been Kentucky's story all season. Arkansas overcame that in Lexington. I think they're going to overcome it here too. But that's the thing I've got my eye on, number one with those guys.
Okay, so real quick, sorry. I just want to say, I feel like it's always for Arkansas this year, the times that they gave up, all those shots and things like that was always against teams that don't normally do that. It's not the teams that, it was the teams that always hit from 3 that didn't normally do it. And all of a sudden, oh, great. Well, they're going to have the best season. But against the teams that were known for hitting their shots and everything. Not to say that they didn't get theirs, but it felt like Arkansas was almost like comfortable in that. I was like, yeah, we can match these guys. Yeah. Those offenses that they went up against, it wasn't like Arkansas just got blown out of the water because they just couldn't compete offensively. It seems like they matched them, whether it was Bama, whether it was Auburn, whether it was Kentucky. It just seemed like Arkansas. Maybe I'm just looking too much into it, but it seems like Arkansas fares and feels a lot more comfortable and confident going up against a really good offense than maybe what they do against a really good defenses in some cases. Maybe that's the case. I don't know, but I don't know. I just feel like Arkansas is in a good
They
spot.
did just put it on the best defense in the country in St. John's,
Yeah.
which tells you that they can win in multiple ways, because you're all right, because they have found ways to really thrive in those games against great offenses, and they do it in different ways. And I think that's like the versatility of Arkansas is what makes you feel good here, right? To your point, John, because you're right. Like against Kentucky, they shot over 50% from three in that game, I'm pretty sure.
They did.
And Arkansas went nuts on them, right? And so like they hit like 13 or however many they did. You mentioned that Alabama game. You're absolutely right. Arkansas limited them from three. Alabama only hit 5 threes in that game. And then against Auburn, who was tracking to have the number one offensive efficiency in the history of Ken Pom or whatever the heck it was that we kept throwing out there, well, they scored in that game like 67?
68, I think.
68, yeah. Like Arkansas really found a way to hold them down there. So you're right. Like it seems like when Arkansas knows that they face a really great challenge from a team, when like what they bring offensively, either they rise to the occasion and can kind of match them shot for shot, which they're capable of doing. They just haven't done it lately, or they find some things and they lock down on the defensive end. So I think there's something to that.
You're definitely onto something. Like it's also just a mentality type of thing where you're going into this matchup like Arkansas kind of knows what kind of game they're in for. They know they're going to have to score. They know that's going to be a huge thing. That they're going to have to find a way to slow down this Texas Tech offense. And with or without Adou Thiero, a lot of what's going to determine this game is even more outside of that. Like you mentioned defending the three-point line, which of course Adou Thiero with his length out on the perimeter certainly can help in that regard, but like everyone kind of has to be prepared to do that. And so and to your point, John, like when it seems like Arkansas is pretty good about when they know what they're up against, like we talked about the zone. When they know they're going to face a zone, they do pretty well against it. When they know they're going to face a big-time team with some size, they're usually game for that kind of thing. When they know they're going to have to face with a big-time offense and match with them, they've been able to kind of either slow the game down or kind of match the output. I also think this time of year, that's just the mentality you have to have. You can't say, we always, as fans, we're looking at Texas Tech and we're trying to find any weakness we can. And we're trying to say, okay, well, what matchups can Arkansas exploit? I think Arkansas needs to be going into this thinking we're going to get a really good Texas A&M or Texas Tech effort. We're going to get their best punch. They're going to be hitting shots. If we give them an inch, they're going to take a mile. Like they kind of have to be prepared for that. And typically when they do, they get up for this kind of challenge. And I also think it works both ways, where if you're Texas Tech, you're sitting over there looking at Adou Thiero and you're like, I don't know what he's going to give them, but we got to be prepared.
Yeah.
If he goes out on the floor, they're going to be prepared. They're not going to be prepared and saying, well, we're only going to get 80% of Adou Thiero. Where they're only going to they're going to be prepared to face the best possible version of this Arkansas team. And so it's up for both teams. You kind of know the circumstances. You know what your opponent does well, but it's always the whack-a-mole thing where, oh, this team shoots really well from three. Well, we locked them down from three. Oh, but we gave up 20 offensive rebounds. Oh, well, we know they're good on the glass. We stopped that. Oh, but we turned the ball over 15 times. There's always these different battles that we're not keeping our eye on that end up popping up. And so I think Arkansas, with so many different factors on both sides, when we get into this game, it's just going to have a completely different identity. And so it's always going to be exciting to see which different players that we're not focused in on end up stepping up and delivering that kind of swing.
I got one more game example to your point, John. The Missouri game for
Yeah.
Arkansas at home, because they got punked in that game in Columbia, and I felt like they were a little bit overwhelmed. And so then they kind of figured it out. It's like, all right, we know that Dennis Gates is going to switch up defenses and do a bunch of things. We know they got a lot of firepower offensively. It's a top 10 offense in the country. Missouri comes into Bud Walton Arena. They score 85 points. They make 12 threes in Bud Walton in that game. And Arkansas winds up scoring 92 freaking points and beating them. How did they do that? They got to the free throw line 37 times.
Helps.
At Bud Walton Arena, that's cool. Is that going to happen here at the Chase Center? Probably not.
Hopefully not.
But that has always kind of been an equalizer. If we think back to the Musselman days, it's like, well, if we're not making threes, we got to make up for it with FTAs. That's another way to get it done. And Texas Tech, we think Arkansas has depth issues. So do they. And we'll see like how healthy the McMillan kid is or whatever. But they play 7 guys, maybe an 8, and there's a drop-off with the last couple guys there. If you can get them in foul trouble and get into their bench, they're really struggling there, and they are the team that they're at a like an athletic and physicality deficit, so it would impact them more. Get to the free throw line.
Simple as that. I tell you what, we'll get into the chat, folks. It's part of your little vibe check here, presented by Basis Health. Appreciate Basis Health being a part of our coverage here of the NCAA tournament, a partnership of Inside Arkansas. They are changing the way healthcare is delivered by providing mobile medical visits at the comfort of your very own home. A doctor will come to your home for urgent care, primary care, IV hydration, and so much more. Basis Health, they are here when you need and where you need them the most. Learn more at basishealth.org today. Appreciate Dre being a part of it and being part of the partnership there. It's awesome. So we'll get to a few of your chats, folks, because again, we got a lot to cover here today. But shout out to our guy, Dabbing Rhino, says, for Super Chat, says, Woo Pig Suey boys, sorry I've missed so much. This new job is insane. So he got a new job.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Well, congratulations for that. Yeah,
Dabbing
awesome.
Rhino.
And we appreciate you.
Yeah. Appreciate you locking in whenever we need you the most. You know, when we need you for this home stretch to get this team to San Antonio.
That's right.
Way to know when it's time to show up.
That's right. And also shout out to our guy, Dre of Bases Health, says, I'll be watching from the Gulf of America.
That a baby.
So, yeah, he's down there on vacation. So, yeah, it's not a bad spot. I would say that might be one of the best spots, but watching it here in person is probably the best.
I would say
say
here's the place to be.
Yeah, it's a good setup. But, yeah, appreciate you locking in and hanging out with us from the Gulf of America. And hopefully the weather's down there treating you pretty well. Mason says, am I the only one that thinks John's voice sounds like Theo Vaughn? Do you guys think I sound like Theo Vaughn?
I saw this earlier, and I've been listening since. Like I could talk myself into it.
I could kind of talk myself in,
Really?
but I don't think you. I think you're just not quite.
Redneck.
You don't quite have that boot in you.
The twang.
You know?
Yeah. The boot. That's actually a better way to put it.
I don't think I've ever been accused of having a Theo Vaughn voice, but I mean, he's very successful in the podcasting.
There's a little bit
so
to
maybe
it with the bass a little bit, and then some Gressel every now and again, and
it's the same kind of.
If you had the Cajun in you,
yeah.
I'll work on my
like,
impersonation.
If y'all were in a
thing.
choir together, y'all would be singing the same part. You know, maybe it's bass one, bass two, baritone, like whatever. Y'all would be the same part.
Okay, well, good to know, because I saw this too, and I was like, I didn't ever get accused of that, but I need to ask y'all. But apparently there is a little bit of it. So this guy's not insane.
You learn something new about yourself every day.
Yeah, Theo Vaughn, apparently. I have without the boot or the Cajun in him or whatever. Chris says, honestly, watching the exhibition game between Arkansas and Kansas gave me hope. They were phenomenal.
They were awesome in that game.
Yeah.
And, like, by this point, I hope we've all learned that we take those things with a grain of salt. But it at least gives you an idea of the possibilities. Like, teams grow, they find their identity, they change throughout the course of the season. But one thing about those early exhibitions is you have no idea who you are, so it's really just like a showcase of talent. And I think it was very clear on that day that Arkansas had a lot of it, and now we're kind of seeing that play out in real time as the team has clicked and come together.
You know what Kansas game really gave me some hope was when Arkansas beat them last week.
Yeah, I know,
that helps too.
that one gave me some confidence. The exhibition, of course, that was pretty cool as well. I remember Nelly came off the bench in that game because he was still working his way back from injury and all that.
Yeah.
But Boogie was cooking back then. But yeah, I think the way, particularly the way Arkansas played in the first half of that Kansas game and the plays they made down the stretch, we just know for a fact this game is going to be decided in the final 4 minutes.
Oh yeah.
We're going to get the tweet from John Neighbors that says, "Hey, I'm sure these next 4 minutes will go
perfectly fine with
fine.
zero problems whatsoever," as it
There
is
you
the scene from Inglorious Bastards. Well, if this is it, old boy, hope you don't mind if I go out speaking the Kings.
Exactly.
Yeah, because that's every Razorback fan relates to that, and I know they love it when I do that too.
Mm-hmm.
Our guy Trey also says Z is due. TB will be huge. Mark it down. Well,
Z is very
he's been due for a while.
Yeah,
he's been due for a while.
Now, and listen, we're semi-unbiased journalists here.
Yeah,
No.
Okay?
that's Big J.
Cannot agree with you on this.
We're at practice today, and we talked about how good Nelly Davis looked. I thought he looked awesome. I thought
did.
Billy Richmond was super explosive. I thought he looked great today. Every time I looked at the other end of the floor, Trevor Brazile was hitting another three. He was kind of taking those game reps too. He was dunking everything. A lot of those guys look good. John, you made this observation. I agree with you. If I'm being honest, the two guys that I saw today, where I was kind of like, maybe not as dialed in as they need to be for the first 15 minutes of a 2-hour practice or whatever, it was Z and Boogie.
Yeah,
I'm just being honest.
By the way, and of course, this stuff doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? Like, it could be any number of things of, like you said, for 15 minutes. But last week, the guy that y'all said that about was Billy.
Yeah.
That it was kind of like, maybe Billy. And then in that first game, of course, was maybe the worst game Billy's played of his entire career.
Right.
It's not that simple as the guy who's lollygagging in the first 5 minutes of practice is going to stink tomorrow night. But there's reason to trust the eye test. The body language, it checks out.
Ball knowers over here. And I was down on the end with the guards, and Boogie did settle in, and I even put a clip out of him of some good stuff that he was doing in there. Chen Coleman was screaming every time he touched the ball. he was like, no restrictions, Boogie.
Yeah.
Boogie's got no restrictions. And basically what he was saying is, like, yo, to the GAs or the managers or whatever, like, when the dude comes in
Hit
there,
him.
bump him, like,
Yeah.
hit him. Don't take it easy on him. And that was fine. But, like, he was really just kind of loose with the handle and some early drills and dribbling off his foot. And I'm like, yo, let's get it going, my guy. I'm sure he was fine. I know John was on the other end with Z, but we'll talk about all the great things that these guys did. But I'll be honest, like, there were a couple moments there with those two where I was like, all right, let's get it going here at the Chase Center.
Also, Sharkensaw says Jonas in the Spain action is going to pull a ton of gravity tomorrow. Our guards will really need to put pressure on Tech's defensive rotations.
Love that.
Thoughts, John?
I agree.
John was having a tough time reading that, dude. That was tough.
I'm about to say
That's a lot. I no, those are some good polls right there. And he's absolutely right. Like I actually think on both ends of the floor that the ball screen and dribble handoff game is absolutely critical. Texas Tech is really good at utilizing ball screens and getting the ball into Toppin, and Arkansas has struggled at times to defend that. They're a lot better with Jonas, so that helps. On the other end of the floor, that's somewhere that Arkansas can really exploit them defensively, especially if you can get some pick and pop stuff going. With Z in there, that could be an opportunity for him to hit a couple threes. I think Jonas, kind of doing some of the same stuff that he was doing against Kansas as a short roller, getting it in space and then working out on top, and he could get that dude in foul trouble for sure. So I definitely think there's something to that. And what was the last part of that chat? It went away, and that was something I wanted to
He
hit
said
on.
Arkansas needs to be able to stress their defensive rotations.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Yes, no, that's absolutely right. Arkansas, one-on-one, guard on guard, is going to be able to blow by those guys the entire game. They're bigger, they're more physical. Like DJ on their 160-pound point guard, that's food. That's barbecue chicken. Here's the thing, though. Texas Tech is super, super disciplined and fundamentally sound defensively. They do a great job of helping. And so you can't get to the rim. You might get by the first guy, but can you get by the second? And so I think ball reversals, keeping it moving, getting them in rotations, and then attacking will be really important. And also hitting early threes, especially if you can get one from like a TB or a Z, like one of your forwards who can stretch it and get those big guys. They don't have to pull them all the way out, but they just got to creep up a little bit.
Yeah.
And that will open up those driving lanes for the guards. Eventually, though, I think they're going to wear them down and be able to get there anyway.
I mean, the point about Jonas, though, it is so huge. Because, I mean, in that first half against Kansas, every single Arkansas guard had that symmetry with him where they were just working and they were getting into the teeth of that defense, getting good looks. I think he's definitely a candidate. If we're talking about getting him in foul trouble, I think Jonas is probably the key to that. Of course, Adou Thiero, he would be another one that would draw some of those fouls. But I think it's crazy that Jonas is such a key offensive player for Arkansas in terms of getting everyone going. A lot of times in basketball, we do the thing where we're like, okay, if we get this guy going, then this guy's off to the side. And if we go to this guy offensively, then this guy's going to be unhappy. And we kind of do that cat and mouse game. With Jonas, it's not like that because he gets everyone involved. It's not like you're like dumping it into Jonas Adou and just letting him go to work in the post. He's getting everyone involved. He's setting screens. He's rolling. He's making good passes once he catches it because, like you said, Curtis, they'll overhelp. So if he catches the ball 10 feet away from the rim, they're going to crash on him. Those kick-out threes, getting it into the teeth and then getting it out, I think you're going to be huge. And like you said, you just got to make those shots, and that's always the thing with Arkansas. The shot making is always the thing that
important.
can always be the determining factor.
Yeah.
Can I give you a vibe check real quick, John? Because we were sitting where we were sitting for a lot of the time today, and I never turned around and looked because I was uncomfortable doing it. The dude behind us, he was asleep, right?
Yes, he was. I was telling Andrew about that guy.
Oh my goodness, man.
That dude was snoring.
He was sawing logs, and honestly, like, I'm, well, you can't see him, so it's like nobody knows who I'm talking about, but like he probably needs a visit from Basis Health. Like the dude might have sleep apnea or something because he'd start choking on himself, and he'd wake up and he's hacking up a lung, and then it'd be quiet for a minute, and then you just hear.
Well, the crazy thing is that
it's like
Curtis
in the media room at the tournament.
Curtis's back was to this guy, and I was sitting across from Curtis. There were times he started snoring loud, but his eyes were still open.
It's crazy,
So I'm just like, man, this guy might be like, I don't really know what to chalk him up to, but it was quite the thing. But yeah, this is day one, my man. Like, come on, you're already like,
It was like
you're going to sleep over here, dude. Come on, man.
That
Yeah,
was wild.
that was a wild thing. The guy Nick, appreciate the super chat. He says, when was the last time a school won a national championship in basketball and baseball in the same year? asking for a
I
friend.
can't imagine it's happened before, right?
I know it's happened in football and basketball in the same year because Florida
did it in 07.
Yeah, 06, 07, 06 football, 07, 06 and 07 basketball, and then 08 football. But anyways, yeah, they did it in the same sport. But I don't think
they
baseball.
wanted it. You know what it is? They wanted it in 06 and 08, I think.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. But baseball, I
don't think so.
Yeah, I have no idea.
I mean,
we're just gonna claim it. We claimed that Nelly Davis. We did the Nelly Davis thing. We were talking about that earlier. Is he or not? Is he not the first player to do 2 Final Four runs? We're just gonna claim it.
Yeah.
And I think if someone wants to dispute it, write us a letter.
Yeah. Take it up with us.
Suggestion jar.
Yeah. Let's see. A few other chats here too. Zach, I guess I'm assuming this is still the guy I graduated high school. Says Andrew must smell funny.
I just pulled it up because it was funny.
You know, it's funny. I wasn't thinking about that, but like about 5 minutes before the show, John insisted that we couldn't all snuggle up together on this couch here, and so now I'm a little bit insecure about it. What the hell, John?
I needed a place for my mouse.
All right, whatever, man.
I think it's fair.
Whatever, man.
That's all it was. Plus, I feel like it's the couch is built for if you got 2 cushions, it's 2 people. You know what I'm saying? Like this has got 2 cushions. Here at Splash, it's 2 people. I think that's a fair
it's
thing.
not for 3 unless there was like a little Tatiana Ali in between the 2 of you or something. Like
this is more of a love seat than a couch.
Not
you know what I'm saying?
3 grown men. I don't think.
Yeah, there's only. I mean, I guess it's just one long cushion. I don't know, man. I mean, I think we made the right decision, but I think if we just weren't fat, we could probably make it work.
Yeah, that would help. That would help our cause for sure. Let's see. Also, where was I was going to bring up this. Oh, BTCPAC says DJ better bully Eli Hawkins.
He will.
Oh yeah, that's what we were talking about that a minute ago. Yeah, I mean DJ's.
Listen,
it's a very significant difference in the grown man ability of the 2 there.
I know,
and Hawkins is good, but
it seems like a month ago at this point. But we talked about DJ's performance after the St. John's game. He goes 4 for 16, but I thought it wasn't indicative of how well he played and how aggressive he was. If that version of DJ that went 4 for 16, if that version of him shows up in this matchup, he might go 8 of 17. I think he might be able to get to the rim and finish even better. Or like we were saying earlier, might have some easy assist where he collapses, kind of forces things on the defense. But I imagine that mentality, DJ, and we've seen him. He's so good when he gets downhill, gets to the rim. Him and Carter Knox both. I would love to see that version of them because those are my favorite.
Also, AR Buzzsaw says, y'all made me nervous with the vibes talk. How are they different today than last week? It didn't sound
comment
positive.
Reminded me of every year during baseball I get this. Like lead up to the season, they say, man, y'all say that the baseball team's going to be good every year. And I'm like, well, they are good every year. Like, yeah, we said the same thing last week, and they were clearly good. Like, we said the vibes were good last week. They went out and won. So it's like, how does or is he saying that we're saying the vibes are bad?
He said that we said that they were different than they were last week, and they were. And I just say like roll it back and listen again because we were very clear, I think, in saying good but different. Yeah. It's just different experiences
worse
today. Yeah, I mean, I think
there's different ways to skin a cat.
I thought we were pretty clear about that, but if we weren't, but what I was alluding to was like we got to check out a practice the day before the game in Providence, and it wasn't really a practice. Like they had already done that at a different school. They showed up at the dunk, and it was just like a shoot around. It was open to the public, so they were having a little bit of fun. It was whatever, but it was business today because it was their last full practice before they play a Sweet 16 game. And so they're warming up. It's like more live action drills. They're more focused. There's less cutting up and everything. Like it was business.
Yeah.
And it's a good thing. So relax a little bit. Don't worry about that. Yeah.
It was different in the format and structure, not different in terms of the team looks shakier,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, don't need that. Let's go ahead and jump into a little Remember Wednesday action because it is Remember Wednesday presented by Fayetteville Flyco. If you go to fflyco.com, you'll be able to see all the great outdoors apparel that they have, whether it's for fishing and hunting. They got T-shirts. They got great hats to go along with it, too. They have everything that you could possibly want. The greatest thing about it is that they're a local company founded right there in Fayetteville. And anything and everything you get is going to be supporting some great causes, help supporting veterans, help supporting the Mayfly Project in the state of Arkansas. A lot of good stuff there. So if you visit their website, any and everything that you buy, be sure to use that promo code HOGSBUY20 for 20% off your purchase. HOGSBUY20, all caps, and you'll get 20% off your purchase with Fayetteville Flyco here on a Remember Wednesday at fflyco.com. So it being a Remember Wednesday, I want to bring this up from Heartbroken Hogs. Is last week Curtis said he felt all-time great vibes and won both games, so I put a lot of stock in what Curtis thinks of the vibes. So, hey, Curtis, you remember when you felt great all last week?
Yeah, I feel great right now, too. It's crazy how we've got, our back-to-back chats here. One person's like, it doesn't sound good. And the other person's like, I take a lot of stock into this. And I'm saying they're good.
Yeah.
Vibes are good.
We're locked in. We're locked in.
Yes, vibes are good. That's the most important thing to take from all this. The vibes are good. Also, I wanted to bring this up, kind of thinking back and doing a remember when, but me and Curtis coming back here and then going through the arenas and everything, it's like the remember when start hitting hard because we remember when Arkansas was in the same exact place, in the same exact position 3 years ago here at the Chase Center, going through the same media places and going through the same hallways and going through all the same stuff. And, just thinking back to that time and remember when 3 years ago when Arkansas was here, they beat Gonzaga, lost to Duke there. I'm going to say, Curtis, maybe you can disagree. It's a completely different atmosphere, vibe, feeling this time around than it was last time. Not just for the Arkansas sake, but we were talking about it. Like that year had Gonzaga, the number 1 overall seed, and all their fans here, plus Duke and Coach K and his, last hurrah. It was a circus, pretty much. Arkansas was an afterthought, an absolute afterthought in that whole thing. But now, with Cal as the coach, I'm not saying they're like the number 1 storyline, but it certainly seems like they're getting their fair share of attention and credit and intrigue from everybody here too.
I think Arkansas might. Arkansas and Cal might be the top storyline down here. Honestly,
Hard to disagree.
Gotta be. What else would be?
Well,
Florida?
Florida, because they're the number 1 overall seed that everybody's gushing over right now. But I haven't really felt that here so far. Todd Golden coached at San Francisco. He was asked about that a ton today, but I think the only people that care about that are the people who know the mascot of San Francisco College or whatever. So I do. I kind of feel like Arkansas might be the story down here, but I think big picture in terms of the NCAA tournament, like you've got the 4 different regionals right now. This feels like the prelims in terms of the way people are viewing it. It's kind of weird. Like it's like the undercard for underdogs is what I said the other day. Because you got Cooper Flag and Duke in one, you got Auburn who's been the top overall seed in the other, and like it just feels a little bit different. And then you take into account, like you mentioned, like there's not the Coach K factor with Duke here. There's not the West Coast flair with Gonzaga in here. It's just a bunch of teams that honestly shouldn't even be in San Francisco down here.
Yeah.
Playing basketball games. So it feels slept on, maybe is what I need to say. But I think there's 2 great basketball games get ready to happen. Arkansas Texas Tech is an awesome contrast of styles. It's 2 teams that are playing great right now. It's a hell of a basketball game. Like if you're a hoops junkie, this is an awesome game. Maryland and Florida is a banger, man. I mean, that's a great game. When we think about Florida, you think about they've got like 6-7 footers that they run out there and gobble up offensive rebounds, and they're having this historically great season. And then Maryland's got the Crab 5, that's cool. You got the Derek Queen kid, Julian Reese, the 2 big men in there. Awesome basketball being played down here. I just don't know how much anyone cares locally because it doesn't make sense. Nobody's from around here.
Yeah, and it's not a obviously right where we're at. This is cool, like basketball area, but I wouldn't say San Francisco is like a town full of hoop junkies.
No.
They're junkies, but they're not hoop junkies.
Yeah, let's say junkies of other
Hey,
sorts.
did y'all go to the Tenderloin today?
Nah, we're waiting till tonight. We didn't want to go without you, bro.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Yeah, because there's so many things that make me nervous looking around.
We're going to take a Waymo to the Tenderloin, John.
Yeah. That's a sentence I never wanted to hear in my life. Taking the old Waymo down to the Tenderloin down in San Fran. Yeah, it should be awesome to see how it all goes down. But I'm just hoping that Arkansas can be able to recapture what they did a few years ago here. It was a lot of fun.
Yes.
But to do better this time around by beating both teams that they play here in San Francisco and moving on to it. So but it's gonna be a really good time. Unbiased Brim, Super Chat appreciates, says, get Toppin in foul trouble. Heavy dose of Adou early, inside out, hit open shots, and make life difficult offensively. Don't fall for the pump fakes. Hashtag WPS.
Oh, they're gonna fall for the pump fake,
dude. Yeah, they are gonna fall for the pump fakes. And I saw someone else put out a chat that was like, how many 3-point shooters Arkansas gonna foul? At least 2. Like we know they're gonna do it. That's for sure. But I think I'm big on the get Toppin in foul trouble thing. Like the best defense sometimes on a guy like that is to get him the hell out of the game. Just attack him on the other end. I saw him today. and he's a little bit bigger than I thought he was. Not taller, but I think I told you guys he strikes me as like Trevor Brazil with 10 pounds of muscle on him, maybe. But man, just like physically speaking, I don't think he's quite there with Jonas from a size standpoint, and that would be a matchup that I would look to exploit early and often. If you get that dude 2 fouls in the first half, Arkansas is cooking.
I also think there's an energy exertion case to be made about going at him defensively. Obviously, if you just get any matchup you want, that's what basketball is finding the right matchup and exploiting it. But I also think, like we always talk about cardio and are they going to make it down the stretch? If you have a guy working on both ends, one, it's probably going to be harder for him to be effective and have them running offense to him offensively, which they're still going to do. But I think later in the game, that would pay dividends. If you have 6 possessions in a row in the first half where he really has to break down, defend against a guy, like you said, Curtis, bigger, maybe a little bit stronger than him, that's going to wear on him. So I think later in the game, that could it's like landing body shots in fights where it's like, all right, that'll help us in the later rounds.
A few other chats here too, folks. Again, we appreciate everybody tuning in. Got a great, considering our timing on everything we've done, we got a great turnout here for our little watch party, or not a watch party, but our live stream here at the Splash here in San Francisco. So next to the Chase Center, it's an awesome spot. So if you're in town, or going to be in town, this is the place to be.
I'm so annoyed that the like now it's like kind of cloudy out here and everything.
Can't see the cool stuff.
Like you can't quite see that's. Like that's literally the Chase Center right there.
It's really cool. Yeah, with the backdrop there, you get the hog up there every 10 seconds or whatever. But
it shows hog is what you're saying. Shows hog up there every time.
Yeah, you got to show hog.
Yeah, got to show hog every time. Let's see. Kim says Hazelwood Mama here. I am loving your show. I tell everyone to follow you guys. Thanks for all your hard work to keep us Hog fans informed. Heart sign, Mama Kim.
Okay, I didn't have time to research, and I have not texted. Is this the Hazelwood mom, like as in like John Hazelwood's mother?
I hope so.
I mean,
I hope it is.
I certainly don't know. So, I mean, if you don't, then
I don't know if I've ever asked Hazelwood what his mother's name is.
We love Mama Kim either way, but it would be cool if it was.
Well, even if you're not friend, the mother of our buddy, we still respect you and appreciate you. But
she wouldn't just drop Hazelwood without it being Hazelwood's mom. Like, as if you're supposed to know, hey, I'm Charlie's mom. It's like, yeah, all right. I don't know Charlie, but sure.
I also don't know that many Hazelwoods other than Jaden, so I mean, maybe it's Jaden Hazelwood's mother.
That might be. Yeah, we're big on the wide receivers, parents jumping in here. So
fair enough.
Yeah, it might be.
But yeah, we appreciate that.
Yeah. Chakota says this is the best possible thing to put up on the living room 80-inch TV right now. Best 7 p.m. show on.
I love this. Does anybody else listening right now? I mean, obviously, most of the time we're doing this at noon, where you guys are at work or whatever, or at home. Has anybody got us else on the TV, on the big screen right now?
Yes, take a picture of it and send it to us on Twitter so we can share it and hype ourselves up.
Yeah, we love that.
We love a little self-admiration.
Also, Chakota had a really good comment later. I see it right there on your screen, John. That one.
We have Bob watching over and helping this team win right now.
I've said this. How many times have I said this throughout March where I'm like, I know Bob was watching that game, like after both those games. No, I've been thinking about Bob a lot lately.
A lot.
So much, man. I mean, just literally right to our right at God's roadside. We sat with Bob before that Duke game, and it was me and John and Bob and Scotty, and 3 of us had an adult beverage there, and it was just fun hearing Bob do his thing. This is where Bob accused John of being an alcoholic.
Yeah.
I mean,
it is where it is.
He was baffled by the concept. He's like, wait a minute, you guys can drink alcohol and still, like, do your jobs a little bit? Like, well, yeah.
Yeah, for those who need context.
It's not illegal. It's frowned upon, Bob. Come on.
I picked up the tab of the group and all the beverages that they had, and all he saw was me get the check, and he saw how many beers were on that, and assumed they were all mine. Be like, God, and he was dead serious. Like, John, I've been thinking, you may have a problem, John. You may need to see something about this. I'm like, Bob, these aren't all mine. Like, what? And he's like, oh, I thought that they were all yours. So ever since then, that was always one of his favorite stories. My favorite stories to bring up. He just, legitimately was concerned for my health because he saw the receipt of the amount of beers that were purchased on them. But yeah, that's a good comment, Chakota. That's for sure. Let's see. John says, is Logan y'all's security guard? Pretty much.
He is.
He's a lot of things.
Yeah.
He's a lot of things. He's a
He's
man
the
of
Adou Thiero of the team right now.
glue guy.
He can do it all.
Definitely a glue guy.
Glue guy. Yeah.
Absolutely.
One thing I will say, I mean, we definitely crunched the numbers and thought about one, like we're a group of 3 men. Not that we're physically imposing by any means. I really don't think we are. Curtis helps because he's 6'4", but like,
Thanks.
I don't think there's like you rarely see a group of 3 get jumped. But I feel like adding Logan gives us some size. Gives us what we need. I think the odds of us getting punked, it would have to be like a pretty big gang that would come up and. I'm not saying no one could kick our asses, but like. Are you really going to, get
you gonna roll the dice?
There's not going to be a random challenge for 4 gentlemen, 2 of which are over 6'3", you know what I mean? Like that helps.
Have you ever I'm sure you guys have probably seen some of the skits or whatever, but the thought process of if you're ever in a situation where you're about to get into a fight with someone that you know could beat you up, just strip down naked. Just drop your trousers.
Have not partaken.
I've not come across that one.
That might be the issue with Logan, because when we saw Naked Man on
He's
the in the
flustered.
Uber getting down here yesterday,
He was a little flustered. Could you have kicked
that?
that guy's ass in that moment?
Always said yeah.
Okay, all right.
I don't know. You were giggling, bro. I don't know.
I mean, how do you not giggle whenever you see just a random grown man walking naked down the street and no one doing anything about it? I mean, that's just
Yeah.
Yeah,
By the way,
that was the
everyone in
thing.
the chat who's flexing their TV sizes, hey, let's relax.
yeah. This is
Everybody's like,
it's not
oh,
TV.
my TV's 1,000 inches.
Yeah, well, it's not a TV inch
Listen,
measuring contest.
we
all
never
right?
need to measure the length of things and determine its value based on that. We never determine the value of something on that.
Yeah, it's just it's not the size that counts. It's the resolution.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
it's the frame rate.
That's what I was thinking.
That's what really matters here the most. Jeez, we're in trouble. All right, let's keep it moving here on the show, folks. Again, appreciate everybody hopping in with us and everything, because there's so much to get to, and let's get to our heavy hitters. About that,
Yeah.
we're considered to be a lot of heavy hitters that we're going to get to, and it's always sponsored by our friends over at HD Roofing and the Construction. Storms can hit unexpectedly, so be sure to contact HD Roofing for your peace of mind with a free inspection that they'll give you in the state of Arkansas. When you choose HD Roofing, you can rely on professionalism, top quality materials, and expert installation for all of your roofing needs. You can check out a lot more of what they have going on at hdarkansas.com, as well as 501-428-0429. So heavy hitters. For me, I'll go ahead and start off because I have a feeling you're probably going to have a baseball one. Andrew.
I'm actually not. The baseball team's in
okay.
timeout. I think you
Okay.
guys should all know that. The baseball team,
Their hitting was good.
still a
ish.
cowardly performance.
Yeah,
Still a
understandable.
cowardly performance that I'm not going to reward on this show today.
Understandable. Well, my heavy hitter is actually going to be something that nobody saw but us, so it's going to be fine. The Uber driver we had last night on our way down to the Chase Center.
Oh, yeah.
That dude was very much a heavy hitter because he was not. You get into the car, he's got Tesla, so we're just not small talk or anything. He didn't say anything really. He's nice, but then I just leaned over, and was like, "Hey, by the way, we're actually going to this place next to the Chase Center," and I did not realize by saying that it would open up an entire world of something that I wasn't really expecting. Whether it was political affiliations, whether it was fights that he almost got into, fentanyl. He said that a lot.
He did say
That
that.
was like
That's
the
a
third
buzzword.
Like
Yeah.
the third word he said was fentanyl, and
Yeah.
Curtis just goes, fentanyl, wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's hilarious.
Like it was just so much going on. He gave us the rundown of San Francisco, what the good stuff and the bad stuff, and what's been happening. He gave us the gang signs and the gangsters and the fights. I mean, it was just there was a lot. And you know what? If there's one thing I can say about that guy, he was hitting something heavy.
Yeah.
And he's my heavy hitter. That Uber driver, man, was wildin'. He's from
I like
Miami, just moved to San Francisco. I was like, well, that's as normal people do. And I just got to give him a shout out because that was a great bit.
Told us a wild story about an Australian Asian man that got gunned down in front of him, and there's just a lot going on.
Yeah, there's just it's San Francisco. Like even the Uber drivers, you get some good stuff out of there. But that's my heavy hitter for the day.
Andrew, I need you to go next, dude.
Okay. I will go next. My heavy hitter is Carter Knox. One, and I always do the thing where, like, sometimes I like to do the whatever happened last night, I'll give a heavy hitter from that. Sometimes I do the preemptive heavy hitter.
Mhm.
I can't remember. I think I gave a preemptive heavy hitter for one of the NCAA tournament games, and it worked out okay. But I can't remember who I picked. But I'm going Carter Knox for kind of both of those reasons. One, I want Carter to carry that heavy hitting mentality into this game. I want him downhill. I want him to be trying to be downhill Carter. You know, I know we're going to have downhill Bill. I know DJ Wagner's going to be getting downhill. But I want Carter Knox, I want him to go at least 1 for 3 from 3. That's what I request.
That'd be pretty good.
I would like to put it in order, Carter, if you're listening. 1 for 3 from 3. That's the goal. If you go 2 for 3, cool. We'll live with that too. 0 for 3, I'll be a little sad. I think he was 0 for 2 in the 2 games combined.
So,
but
yeah.
I also want him. It feels like his success rate when he puts his head down and drives is so high.
Yeah.
And, we keep talking about JT Toppin getting in foul trouble, and I agree. But I also just think, like, that's going to be – I think Arkansas needs to be relentless getting downhill, getting after these dudes, making them defend, making them really have to take bumps, make it be physical, make it be a game where it's hard to play pretty. I want this to be like one of the – I want both teams to be, like, putting in ice baths after this game. Like, I want it to feel like war. And I feel like Carter has that kind of – I mean, one, he's kind of a tank, low-key. Like, he's 6'6". I don't know what they list him at size-wise. But I feel like he's gotten bigger throughout the year. Like, he just seems in great shape. I also just love the vibes he brought in the locker room. Just the interview. I mean, one, he reminded me a little bit of Anthony Edwards with, like, the confidence he was talking about, like, just the way he was vibing. But also him doing the whole celebrate, win again. I kill, win
celebrate.
Again.
Yeah.
It was good stuff, man. Like, he really, I don't know. He provided the best moment of the day for me, and I hope he's a heavy hitter tomorrow.
That's a great one. Yeah, Carter's electric, man. It's really a shame that we haven't had more opportunities to not even get in the locker room, but just like talk to those guys throughout the course of the year. Like, that was one thing we talked about. Was like, man, it'd be nice to get, maybe a player instead of an assistant coach for a midweek and just build that relationship, because I feel like people are falling in love with this team, and even best case scenario, we're not going to see most of them again after 2 weeks. If they cut down the nets, it's like, dang, they could have been this could have been even more special than it already is. It's crazy. But speaking of assistant coaches, I've got 2 heavy hitters. One of them is Chin Coleman, man.
Yeah.
I love me some Chin Coleman. And when he got brought onto the staff and Cal brought, a bunch of his guys over, and we heard everything from BBN about, just a bunch of yes men, they're going to run out of steak at the steakhouse, like whatever. But throughout the course of the year, Chin has been my favorite interview of the assistants that they put out there in pregame. He really stood out to me in those Vice documentaries. Dialed in, like with scouting report personnel, he's all over that. And he's also he's like he is the vibes coordinator of the staff.
He is the vibes coordinator.
And always cracks me up when he's out there. And he was said earlier how he was giving Boogie Flan the business, throughout the course of the 15 minutes we were in there today. A really funny situation right there where there was a security guard that had like their, like if you go through a metal detector and you get flagged and they've got like the wand that they'll hit you with. The guy had that one in his pocket and he like accidentally turned it on or something. And as the team was coming back down on their stretch, it like went off. It was like the zzz thing. And Chin Coleman was like, whoa, 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 whoa. And like he made this big thing. And then Jonas was like, damn, they're going to call the police on you, man. And like it was this whole ordeal, but it's just funny, man. So I appreciate Chin Coleman. He's one of my heavy hitters. And my other one, and I've been thinking about this a lot since we've been in San Francisco, and I've been talking to him the last couple of days. It's Gus Arginal. Former Razorback assistant Gus Arginal, man, who turned us on the last time we were here to the Tipsy Pig, which we are going to go to at some point while we're down here.
There will be a point we go.
And Razorback fans should too if you come to San Francisco for these games. But a lot of my memories that have come back to me being around here today were just different moments. Like, they beat Gonzaga, and, Gus comes running around the corner, and we get the fist bumps from him and everything, and he can't speak. He's like, oh, yeah, the game was awesome. What are you guys doing? But he was always just a really good dude and appreciated him. And he's had so much success since he left. First year, back at Cal State San Bernardino, he takes them to a Final Four, Division II Final Four. Backs it up with another 23-win season, and he gets them to the national tournament again. They win a game. And so he proved it as an assistant at Arkansas and made a lot of ties in regional recruiting. And now he's been a head coach at a really good Division II school and has won a crap ton of games, back-to-back tournament appearances. And now I'm looking at Arkansas, and I'm seeing Arkansas State that has a head coaching vacancy again. And I'm thinking about the way it went down with, guys who've been assistants in the past. They bring in, and Arkansas State's like this for whatever reason, they're like a stepping stone job to something else. Look at Grant McCaslin, who Arkansas is facing now. It's been that way. Look at Hodgson, who just got the South Florida job. One guy after another has gotten an opportunity there, thrived, and moved on to bigger and better things. I'm calling out Jonesboro. Like they need to give my man Gus a call because I think he would kill it there. I really do.
Absolutely. I mean, dude, the thing is, there's a lot of these coaches like that. You mentioned how it's kind of a stepping stone type of job, which, like, sounds like it's disingenuous, but I mean, it's just the way it is. And also, if your coaches are getting hired to take other jobs, that means you're winning a lot of games. Obviously, we saw that this offseason. And Gus is just one of those guys, checks every type of box of, one, what the kind of guys they would be looking for if you're at a school like Arkansas State, but his trajectory is just straight up. And we know, I mean, he's a guy that when we talked to him when he was at Arkansas, I mean, every time you heard from him, you could kind of tell that this is a guy that knows what he's talking about. This is a guy that, clearly going to be a future head coach one day. He's clearly, like you said, proven he can be a head coach and be successful. He can build a program. He's clearly going to be on that trajectory of being a big-time college basketball head coach. I feel like getting a guy at that point, and we always do the thing of like, is a person ready for this job? You kind of like to see the arc of, they get this job, and then they get this job, and then they get this job. I feel like Arkansas State, one, would kind of fit that natural evolution of the career path he's on. But also it's like, look, whether it's this year or 3 years from now, he's going to have a job somewhere like Arkansas State in the near future.
Yes.
Arkansas State, you might as well go ahead. You landed on a gym. You found you a gym in Hodgson. Go ahead and get you the next one. Get that thing rolling. Keep it rolling. Also, worth noting, would he maybe want to I know Joseph Pini's already announced his transfer elsewhere. I don't know, maybe keep a couple of those guys.
Yeah.
He knows them. He's known them longer than Hodgson has. So, he recruited. And that's the other thing that people forget about is, he was a big part of a lot of the recruiting efforts for Arkansas. Hell, had he not left, there's a world where Arkansas might have actually gotten across the finish line with Ron Holland. Because when he left, it was across the finish line until it wasn't in the last minute. The thing about Eric Musselman is he's just such a in-your-face personality and everything, and he deserved a ton of credit for what he did at Arkansas. Don't get me wrong. But there were guys behind the scenes who absolutely killed it, and Gus was one of them who I feel like never got enough credit, especially for what he did on the recruiting trail, the relationship building. There's a lot of personnel management that goes on when your head coach is Eric Musselman. That stuff is so critical to the bonding, to the glue that keeps the team together. I think they need to do it.
Pull
and
the
if
trigger.
it's not them, it's going to be somebody.
Hire him. Hire this man, A-State. Because it's going to be a good thing for you. It's going to be a good thing for your program. It's going to be a good thing for everybody involved. And he's a proven winner. So, yeah, make the hire. Do the right thing, A-State. Hire Gus Argenal in that regard. All right. So, again, I know we got a lot of people that's getting into the chats.
Awesome.
Which is great. Again, we love that and appreciate it so much. Try to get to as many as we can. Let's see. Casey, let me go down here. He says, appreciate the super chat. Let's go Woo Pig, I assume. Hogs by 90. My wife's Ashley's birthday was yesterday. Happy belated birthday to your wife, Ashley.
Yes, indeed. I've been told it's not polite to ask a female how old they are, but happy birthday.
Yeah.
We're very happy that you made it another year, whatever that year is. That's good stuff.
It's always 25, Curtis. It's always 25.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's always a good assumption. You do that because that's never going to get you in trouble. As long as you just assume it's 25. Matty Ice just says, Woo Pig, love the content.
Thank you.
Love that. Thanks, Matty Ice.
Love that.
Also, Witty says, anyone see Broden ran a 4.29 at the NFL Combine? And out of 25 passes, he dropped 73 of them.
Is that real?
Correction. He did it at Arkansas Pro Day. So, Witty, you gave him too much credit.
Jeez,
I never thought I'd say this, Witty. You gave Tyrone Broden too much credit.
Jeez,
Did he
Witty.
really drop that many passes, or is that?
I mean,
It's
I
hard
don't think you can drop 73 out of 29
I don't think
passes.
you could.
I thought it was 25 out of 73. My bad. I didn't read it right. But the fact that I even had to think about it tells you all you need to know.
Like,
Yes.
you could have literally
Yes.
routes on air just can't quite connect.
Yeah. Let's
No,
see.
I mean, honestly, Tyrone Broden is made for that type of setting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, he is. Let's see. Also, Stephen Ryan says that NCAA attached a number to us, and people think we can't win. Fear the Hog in
So,
San Francisco.
Weirdly enough, this comment reminded me of the Rocky to his son speech. At some point along the line, you let the world tell you were no good. You let someone stick a finger in your face and tell you you're no good. I don't think this Arkansas team has ever done that, though. They don't let people tell them what they are. Like we were talking to Trevin today, and he's just like, listen, they've been doing this shit all year, man. They've been doubting us all year. They've been moving the goalposts. I love that he brought that up, that he was like, we had games that everybody said was a must win. We go out there and win it, and they were like, you got to win one more. I loved that he said that and kind of acknowledges it. And I think a few players have said it's just kind of what comes with the territory of playing for Calipari. I love that this team, like I've said all week, they don't feel like a 10 seed. When that ball gets tipped, Texas Tech's not going to be like, well, we're in a good spot. I know we're down 8-2, but at least it's a 10 seed. It's just not going to feel that way at all.
Well, ask Rick Pitino and Bill Self if Arkansas feel like a 10 seed.
Yeah. Well, I would even throw in, it's like if Arkansas say they won a national championship this year, would they be the worst team to ever win a national championship in college basketball? I have a feeling no. I don't think
the Shabazz Napier UConn team was not very good. They were like an 8 or 9 seed.
Yeah.
And they just weren't that
And
talented.
I'm not talking about seeding. I'm just talking about, like, obviously, like, the talent, the team, the coach, everything. It wouldn't be like this, holy crap. No one, who would have ever guessed that a Hall of Fame coach with 5-star players and one of the best portal guys would have won a national championship? I just don't think it's going to be the case.
That's exactly what people would be doing, like Goodman and
oh, yeah.
Like it would be like, oh, well,
Yeah, of course they won it.
They should have. $10 million roster. Yeah.
Yeah, it does. Well,
it's going to be so nice when that because that will happen, Curtis. You're right. It's going to be the immediate. Well, this is a 10 seed, but yeah, of course they paid all this money. We have so much evidence of receipts where people were saying that this team wasn't going to win shit, and so it's like that would definitely feel very good.
We do need our Inside Arkansas research team to find out the national champion with the most losses in a season.
Interesting. I bet that UConn team with Napier is it.
Get on it, Logan.
I think you might be right.
If I had to guess, just because I remember in the moment, that was a year where we were like, holy cow, I cannot believe this team is winning the title. It's literally just because they have – he got drafted in the first round just because of it.
Because what was Arkansas have 13, right? 22-13, I think, is their record.
Yeah.
So
that's got to be up there among the most.
Well, I know because the lowest seed ever win it was the Villanova team, right, of 1984 that beat Patrick Ewing in Georgetown.
Yeah,
am I old? I thought that was a common thing.
But that was back in the era where, like, if you lost 9 games, you couldn't make the tournament.
You said it with your chest. I believe you.
I thought they made it 30 for 30 on that, maybe, because they beat Patrick Ewing. I thought that was the case. I could be wrong.
Listen, I'm not disputing you. I was not alive, bro. I don't know.
Yeah, I wasn't either. All right. Another super chat from Arkansas Tapes says, don't know if y'all already talked about it, but do y'all think that they are trying to make Adou injury seem worse than it is?
I don't think that at all. Personally, I think it's just perception of the way people consume information. Like with Adou sitting out or whatever, that could mean a million things.
Yeah.
It could mean they just didn't want the media to see him. It could mean that he had a setback, or that he hurt himself at practice yesterday, or it could mean he's sore.
Yeah.
And he said he was sore. And when Cal was talking about it, he didn't say, oh, he re-injured himself, or oh, it didn't go well, or whatever. He's like, oh, he practiced yesterday, knees bother him a little bit, so we didn't have him do anything today. And you know what I mean? So I don't think that they're making too big of a deal out of it. I think, some folks on social media, saw us tweet out or whatever that, hey, like, he's not participating in this part, and they're like, oh. And then the other half were like, oh, yeah, it's just Cal playing chess.
Mm-hmm.
It's no big deal. It's probably somewhere in between, honestly.
I've heard a quote one time, and it said it takes a lot of confidence to take a day off. Because if you take a day off, that means that you kind of know, like, all right, I'm in a good spot. I can, I've put in the work. I can kind of relax for a little bit. I know I've put in the work. I think that's kind of what, I'm not saying that Adou Thiero is all good to go and he's completely cleared and that's why they gave him a day off. But I think that everything Arkansas has been doing this week has been with the context of hoping you get the best version of Adou Thiero on Thursday night. That's the goal for Adou. That's the goal for the team. And so I think if you think about it, yesterday we saw him dunking, we saw him high flying, we saw him going through some contact. It seemed like that was a real, like an actual day's work. And so you have that with a day off today. I think that kind of sets up perfectly for him to be full go, him to go get after it tomorrow. Whereas if they were playing him, if he were practicing and doing as much as he could, it would almost feel like they were like trying to play him into shape. And I think the fact that they didn't play him last week and are able to kind of ramp him up at their own pace today or this week, I'm cool with that. And so reading between the lines of what John Calipari said, I think that like part of why they held him out is just to make sure you're getting the best version of him tomorrow night.
Also, Chakota did say 1985 Villanova 8 seed.
You said 84, you moron.
Yeah.
You don't know anything.
25-10. I was just laughing because he also said John's memory is insane, big brain activity. Tell that to my friends because they say my memory's awful, which it might be. But I remember stupid stuff. Like, I remember stuff that does not matter. Like, I know
like that.
Well, yeah, like that. Like, I know my alphabetical order for my kindergarten class. I don't know why. No other class I know that. But for my kindergarten class, I knew my alphabetical order. Still to this day.
What size hat do you wear?
9 3/4, 8 3/4. Everybody, is that the number?
Are we going to do measuring now for hat sizes?
Yeah,
I mean,
maybe.
come on. I don't know. It's like 7.
I was going to make a, like, if you got such a big head, you got to have some knowledge in there kind of argument.
Oh,
but then I
wow.
got to thinking about it. I was like, I might have a bigger head. I don't know.
Or stubbornness.
There we go. Okay.
I think John's got a bigger head than you, if I'm just being
I
objectively honest.
my head is massive. Like, it's ridiculous. It's like when I came out of the womb, it was like I was 95% skull. So it's just like it just happens that way, man. It's that Bolton head I got going on over there.
Funniest thing I've ever heard.
Like it's been a struggle, you know. Like I've been having to grow up with that.
Goodness gracious.
Had a full head of hair and a full head of teeth coming out of the womb. So let's keep it moving here at some of these chats that I'm sure there are really good ones there too. A shout out to Colby. He says delayed in the Denver airport right now. See y'all boys tomorrow. Sorry about that, Colby. That sucks,
your boys.
man.
That does suck.
Delays suck. Oh, is that your boy?
Yeah.
Oh.
Logan's been crying, waiting on you to get here, buddy.
Yeah, that's
been
true.
going through it, man.
Well, good luck in Denver and getting here. I know a lot of Razorback fans and even a handful of media members who were trying to fly in today, like get in the morning and then be able to get over for practice and everything, didn't make it because of like high winds and airplanes that had to circle around so many times because they couldn't land or whatever. And shout out to those folks for being able to handle that and get over here. I know we would have been freaking out in the air if that was our situation. It doesn't sound like fun. So hopefully everybody gets here safe and sound.
There's nothing fun about flying.
Not really.
Nah, yesterday's flight was sick though.
No, yesterday's flight was about as smooth as I could ever dream and ask for, but there's still nothing redeeming about flying.
I look like a kid in a candy shop looking outside at the scenery, like the mountains and all that. And it like we went through, that little picture in the textbook that's like got like all the different types of land.
Yeah,
that's what it looked like on the flight, where it was like just a desert full of nothing, and then there was mountains, and then there was water. It was like we had it all. Man.
I felt scared because I'm in my own little world, and this is the first time I've ever had someone say, "Hey, check outside the window," and I actually looked because normally I'm like, "Nah, I'm good. I don't want to see what's out there," but I did, and it was nice.
I like alerted you. I was like, John, you got to look at this shit, dude.
Yeah. Well, it's between that and then I guess he lost in a game, and he just like got mad and he freaked out, and it scared me to death. Like he's sitting next to me, and of course, any sudden movements make me just on here. And then
I remember that.
Yeah, he's just sitting there, he's just like, oh, like that. And I just thought maybe it was like, was something wrong? Like this, it's.
I can't remember what game I was playing, but I remember messing it up, and I was like, oh no.
Yeah, it's like I get to the point to where anything that I'm on edge about everything.
I remember seeing you. You were like,
yes.
he did one of those.
Yeah, as if like just your sudden movements that be like, is the plane going down? Like because that's why Andrew moved that way. Couldn't make sense out of it. Yeah. Couldn't make sense out of it. But
that's that hog fan brain in you. That's like just like always when you see something, you're like, wait a minute. So Adou Thiero has passed away. That's it.
Yeah, pretty much there too. So,
hey,
what's up, man?
Fans.
Yeah,
hey, there we go.
How you doing, man? Yeah, I remember y'all. Yeah, look at that. Like, we got the spot up here, and we got Razorback fans that are hanging out too. And so this is the place to be.
It's gonna be a takeover.
Yeah, it's gonna be a takeover. It should be. Nobody wants to see Texas Tech Red Raiders here. I want to see the Gators.
I've not seen a single Texas Tech fan.
I've not either. Did you guys see any like Florida fans or Maryland fans roaming around?
I've seen some Florida.
Yeah, I've seen some Florida. Maybe Maryland. I don't know.
Okay.
I haven't been looking that hard. But
yeah, I don't think I've ever met a Maryland fan in general.
The only Tech fan we've seen was Logan's seatmate on the plane.
Man,
Logan. Turns out he works for him.
Logan's seatmate on the plane. Like there were the two biggest individuals on that plane that fit 300 people. Got stuck next to each other on that plane, man, in the back, second to last row. So we were feeling for Logan on that, but they made it work. But yeah, he was a Texas Tech guy. So there's that one too. So yeah, it's gonna be a Razorback takeover here again because we're here at Splash Sports Bar or Splash at
Thrive City.
At Thrive City.
This little area is Thrive City.
Yeah. So, because you thrive in it, right?
and then we're in a city, and
yes,
is
it
thriving.
is. That's true. So we got that going for us too. So we'll have a few more of your chats, folks. I do want to bring up, of course, our Alumni Hall question today, presented by Alumni Hall. Go over to Alumni Hall, and you'll see all the great apparel that they have for all things Razorbacks. I mean, you're a Razorback fan right now, right? You want to get all the coolest stuff? Go to InsideArkansas.com/Alumni Hall. Enter in that promo code HOGSBY20, all caps, you get 20% off your purchase. Or you can go into Alumni Hall, 3417 North College Avenue, just be like, hey, HOGSBY20, and you'll get 20% off your order. Simple as that. They love us over there. Just tell them Inside Arkansas sent you, and they'll give you something nice. Get you the special treatment over there. But it's a very simple thing. Hey, if the Hogs lose against Texas Tech, is it still a successful season?
Yeah.
If they no matter what happens tomorrow, is everyone going to look at this season as success? Simple as that? Yes.
They absolutely
Because I agree.
should. Yeah.
I agree.
I mean, listen, obviously, yeah, if they lose by 1,000, I'll be like, damn, wish they hadn't have done that. But yeah, no matter what, I mean, there's no path. And I think I said that the other day that like all these, we spent all year with Arkansas, Kentucky, and national media. Everyone's looking for that moment where they can point and laugh and do the parade. There's just no way that the Cal haters can do that at this point. Like Arkansas's reached the point, Sweet 16. Hell, preseason, that's kind of where we were like thinking, like even our highest of highest hopes. Obviously, we thought this team could go to the Final Four and could make the national title game. But like our expectations preseason were like, hey, win a game, get to the second weekend. Like that was about the range. They did that. They just took a bizarre route to get here. So we're certainly going to remember this team fondly, no matter what. Like I'm going to always carry these memories with me. And I'm going to, but I mean, yeah.
Do you remember where Arkansas debuted in the preseason AP Top 25?
13?
10?
16.
Oh.
No way.
Yep.
They are the worst 16 team.
So yeah, it turns out they've had this team nailed all year.
They haven't underachieved. They haven't overachieved. They have achieved.
They're right where they wanted you to be. Yeah. So, but could you guys guess? Maybe you've seen it, but I put this poll question out pretty early this morning, so we've gotten a lot of votes.
I'm gonna say 88% yes.
Trolls. I'm gonna say 72% yes.
97% said yes.
Yeah. Oh wow!
Listen, I'm
okay.
Good. Hog fans, credit to y'all
very
for
much
not
so.
having a dump in your pants and being like, no,
I would say,
I
would say credit to BBN for like abiding to the rules of their own truce and not skewing the poll.
Yeah, 97%. Yeah.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah. So that's there you have it. I'm glad.
That
I'm
right
glad,
there,
though.
and look, that right there is what's so cool about this week is you have 97% of the fan base that agrees you're playing with house money here. We just get to have fun. And I feel like this week, there was an anxiety last week. This time, there was a lot of anxiety, actually, I would say. Not even just because of our flights, but I feel like there was kind of a tension in the air. I really don't feel that. And I think the team probably feels that as well, although they don't operate on the same expectations as everyone else.
Yeah. It's a whole nother animal, man, when you get to the Sweet 16. And, the team's vibes may not be different, but our vibes may be a little different. Like it just changed a little bit. Plus, let's be honest, who wants Texas Tech in the Elite Eight?
Literally nobody.
Nobody ever said, who I'd really like to see advance in the tournament? The Texas Tech Red Raiders.
Well, to be fair, Lubbock is such a major city in the United States. Like it's such a driver of culture and topics and like just big developments in this country. And so I think that's probably the people.
Yeah, spring break destination number 1, I think, on the Forbes list this past week. Yeah, it comes out and everyone wants to go to Lubbock.
I love when someone sends me a postcard.
I will say this. Like Joey McGuire's was campaigning to be Arkansas's new head football coach.
Yeah, that was weird.
Like I don't know how on board people are for that, but in what's his contract? 5 years. So in 4 or 5 years from now, when Cal's got a ring or two and he decides to hang it up, I'd be all for Grant McCasland.
Yeah,
taking the helm, man. He's an impressive dude. His team's not going to win tomorrow.
It's not.
But he's the hell of a coach.
I don't want him.
You don't want him?
I don't want him.
Oh, he's smooth, man.
Because you know why? Because I want Gus Argenal after he takes A-State.
There you go.
To 3 straight NCAA tournaments.
He's got the pathway. Like I mean, McCasland, Arkansas State, North Texas, Texas Tech. And then we'll have Gus who would do the Arkansas State, but there'd have to be one more stepping stone because Arkansas can never hire the Arkansas State coach. They can never do that, even if he went to a damn Final Four with the Red Wolves.
It's true.
The U of A could never hire the A-State coach. He has to have one more stop in between.
So you think Gus needs to go A-State and then he needs to go like
UNLV.
North Carolina.
Go to
Yeah,
UNLV
sure.
because that's what everybody does. Just go to UNLV, something like that.
Yeah, Pastner's been about 3 years.
Yeah, yeah.
Pastner's gonna have flamed out there.
Yeah.
Exactly. So you're right. That's the pathway. The key is
Or
he's got to start that move now because he's only got a few years.
Or maybe Arjun goes to USC.
Come on now.
Dude,
That was John. Whoa.
Saying
What was
sometimes
that?
people get better jobs. You know,
Okay,
like they move on. You know, get other opportunities. Is all I'm saying.
Sheesh, wow.
Everybody relax. Sheesh. You have fun in here anymore. But again, shout out to all you Razorback fans for being, level-headed when it comes to this. But and that's the thing is like you don't want it to end. No one wants it to end tomorrow. But it's just nice to know, hey, after all the bull crap that Hog fans and all of us had to deal with this season, and the ups and downs and the nonsense and all of that, it's just nice to know that regardless, you can at least going to look back on the season in a fond way. You're going to be like, hey, that was crazy, but hey, we went to the Sweet 16. That's not what you want to be the ultimate goal, but it makes you at least feel better about your situation and what it could have been compared to other teams.
Isn't it funny, though, that it's kind of perfect way for this season to play out where we spent the entire last half of the regular season saying, oh, if Arkansas wins this game, then they'll be fine. Oh, if they win this game, then they'll be fine. Now we've done that with the NCAA tournament. We're like, all right, if they beat Kansas, this is a successful year. Now we're like, well, go ahead and beat St. John's. You're like, you know what? Go ahead and beat Texas Tech. They win to Thursday, Saturday. It's gonna be like, you know what? Just go ahead and.
But I'm telling you right now, if and I know it's a big if, we got a lot to get to, but if they go to the Final Four, I'm not doing this solo. But no, they got to win it all.
Yeah, if you get there,
if you get there, you got to win it all.
Yeah, if you go to the Final Four and lose, you are a coward.
You got to beat Auburn. You got to beat Duke. Easy wins,
dude.
No problems.
Oh man,
it's so rare to get to that point to have that chance. Like just one of the Final Four teams standing there, and it's like hell. You win 2 games in 3 days, and you did it. Yeah, you can't get there and not do it.
You can sniff it. You can sniff that Final Four, dude. I don't literally. It's not. I'm not kidding. Like I have not been on this earth for an Arkansas Final Four. I need y'all to really understand that. Logan wasn't even thought of the last time Arkansas went to a Final Four.
Oh, he was thought of.
His grandchildren, or his grandparents, I should say, were not even born yet. I don't know what my brain, how my body would react to an Arkansas Final Four. I don't know what that's like.
No one does.
I've seen the VHS tapes, but I have not tasted it myself.
If they got to the Final Four, would it be the greatest Razorback achievement since 1995 when they went to the Final Four national championship game?
Yes.
Probably. Because what?
I think it would be.
You think losing to Oregon State in the baseball title game? You think that's
no?
A better
Losing to
achievement?
Ohio State in the Sugar Bowl, and that one was the best.
I will say. Seriously though, I'd say the 11-2 football season when they finished number 5.
It was hard to beat.
That was a very notable accomplishment. hell, going to the Elite Eight, it was like one of the better ones. So it's like, yeah, probably.
You could do something really funny here, Cal. In your first year, you can accomplish the greatest Razorback sporting achievement in 30 years.
Well, dude,
you can do it.
The only thing that would make me a little bit nervous, you know how we joked about how Cal, he had been so heated up at Kentucky, everybody was kind of on his ass, and so he probably enjoyed coming to Arkansas where he's a winner. If we thought that he was mailing it in at Kentucky, wait till Cal takes Arkansas to the title game in year 1. That sucker's going to be getting fat and happy real quick. He's going to be like, shit, I'm good. Especially with the way we'll be treating him all summer, man.
Oh, dude. It'll just be, that guy won't be able to go any, you think he's a celebrity, which he is, but it's like, that dude won't even go out to walk his dog, Paulie, or Paul? Is that his dog's name?
Palmer.
Yeah.
Palmer.
He won't even be able to walk Palmer around.
Paulie Calipari.
Yeah, Paulie Calipari. that would be a better name. Not that, but Palmer's good too.
Also, by the way, I see Zach Edwards, our guy, saying the whole, if all the first year coaches make the Final Four, get that out of here, man. We do not want to do the Kentucky Arkansas. I do not want to experience BBN while we're in San Antonio. You know what I mean? When you're out there accomplishing your dream, you don't want to share it with the kid down the road that you hate.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? The neighbor that you really cannot stand.
It's a good take.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I do not want to go to the Final Four. I get narrative and story and all that, but it's like, no.
I don't want them there. They don't deserve it. They don't deserve that. The asinine and the over bloated sense of accomplishment that they have as their own basketball program and their fanhood, and they think that they're just better than everybody else. No, I don't want them there. Because then they get there, just be like, oh, this is where we belong. This is our home. I mean, we
already-
live in the Final Four.
I'm already a little disgusted by all the like, oh, guys, we both had a good year. Let's just call off the
Shut
dogs.
up.
Now it's like,
You can go stick it where the sun doesn't shine. Sit on it and rotate. Let's see. Got James saying you always sit in the back of the plane because you never see a plane back into a mountain.
high survivability rate there.
I
Yeah.
think that's a great point.
I hate James.
It's a good chat.
I hate you, James.
We'd find a way. We'd find a way that plane started spinning.
Yeah, that's jeez. Okay, thank you. I'm glad we're not flying out today. Odell outside says, "What is a Red Raider anyway?" It's a pirate that's the color red. Isn't that what
Is
it
it
is?
a pirate?
Guy on a horse.
Yeah, isn't it a pirate?
Damn, I always thought
They're
it was
raiding.
like a cowboy
It's like the type of pirates that like run up on you.
Yeah, because
and,
when Mike
ransack your
Mike
apartment.
Leach's thing was, and they have the guns out.
Yeah,
We've kind of made Odell's point here.
Yeah,
Like, what is it anyway?
No, but I mean, he's right.
yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
a red pirate. Yeah.
Okay.
yeah. Because a raider can be, like Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah.
Were they pirates? So
I mean, I think they were just people that were pulling off a heist.
yeah,
They were
they're
stealing
they're trying to steal the Ark of the Covenant.
thieves is what they are.
Yeah.
They say you get caught red-handed.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why they call them Red Raiders. They're raiders they're stealers that have been caught.
What's a stealer then?
A raider.
Yeah. Logan's our guy Logan across the way here says, I can confirm I was negative by an age by several years the last time we made the Final
Wasn't
Four.
even close.
Yeah. You're -7?
He's definitely a thought, though.
I was at
yeah,
least
he's a
close.
thought.
My family had just moved to Louisiana in 1995.
Mm. Well, I will admit, I was alive, and I do remember slightly a few things about the national championship in '94. Very few things. One, it was at my we had my family friends came over to my house on Azalea Terrace in Fayetteville, and to make sure the kids were staying out of the way of the parents, they rented a brand new video game from Blockbuster called Sonic the Hedgehog 3. If you want to know how old that I have become, and we played that, and I just remember on my dad's big RCA television that was the size of a furniture piece when they won the title, the parents screamed. We screamed too, just because, and it was a lot of celebrations. So I don't remember as far as all the in-depth analysis of all, but I just remember how that moment meant so much to the people that I was around in that moment.
Well, I was 5 or 6, I guess, and that team was like my introduction to basketball. Like that's when I figured out that it was a thing and what a Razorback was and everything about that. But it was my introduction.
Mm-hmm.
And so when your introduction is the pinnacle, like the mountaintop, I have way more memories about how destroyed I was because of UCLA the next year.
They cheated.
It almost ruined my life.
Jim Herrick was a cheater.
And I hate that I remember more about that game than I do actually
does
winning the
suck,
thing.
yeah.
There's so many losses that I can taste still on my lips.
Oh.
That I just really back in the day I used to take Arkansas losses so hard, man. Like when I was a kid, I just could not get past it. I was like, God dang it. Like I just hated losing
hurt.
so much. Now I go into the excuse making right away. But back in the day I was just like devastated, man. I couldn't even function when they'd lose.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is I'm the same way, and we've kind of talked about it a little bit, but that's where I know I'll be so far the opposite if Arkansas ever won a national championship of significance. I just there's nothing you'll be able to say or tell me for years. It's like even if Arkansas football goes 0-12, I'll be like, so what?
Yeah.
I got a natty, and it's sitting in my well, it's not in my, but it's sitting in my state at that arena that I go to in the museum. That statue, it's mine.
Can we confirm, and we might have to just call Gus after this, if Gus Argenal is the head coach of the Arkansas Razorbacks and they win the national title, we would probably get rings, right?
I think so.
I think we should.
Maybe
Yeah.
we'd get one collective ring, and then
Mhm.
we'd keep it at Curtis's house. But I think we could. I think we could.
We'd share it.
I think we could get something. You know what I mean? Or we
think
could at
so,
least
too.
get on the float,
I think.
parade float,
Yeah.
We have a float.
Yeah. We'd
Like
have,
our
yeah,
own-
we'd
our
have a
own float. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not Arkansas float.
Yeah. We'd have
sure.
a float. We'd throw beads at people.
Yeah,
Coins. Be like Mardi Gras.
You know what we definitely get?
coin.
An interview.
We would get an interview.
We would
We
definitely
would
the
get
very
to
minimum.
communicate with the head coach of the Razorbacks.
Yep. At the very minimum. we
I've
would get
never
the
known what
interview.
that's like.
Yeah, well, none of us do. But Yeah, that would be a good time if that actually transpired and actually went down and actually happened. But long way until that. But it's just great to have the thought, to think like it's not the stupidest thing in the world that Arkansas could go to the Final Four this year. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not an absurd statement. It's not one of the dumbest things that anyone's ever heard, and you're just saying it just to say it.
It's more absurd to suggest that they couldn't go to the Final
that it's
Four.
like, there's zero chance. Yeah, I agree. I think that's a good question for tomorrow's show on the Alumni All Question
Which
of the Day.
would surprise you more?
Yeah, it's like which is more likely, Arkansas to not make the Final Four or Arkansas to make the Final Four? I think I know how the answer.
Well, I'll tell you the answer is
to
not.
Yeah, they might make the Final Four because we know how difficult it can be.
Spoiler for tomorrow's show.
Yeah. But let's see. A Hog fan just says Red Raiders a chick dressed like Zorro riding a black horse.
Okay.
Good to know. Okay, I think that's on their official Wikipedia page. You must have pulled that from that.
That's what. Whenever they were like drawing the logo, they were like, "This is the inspiration you need."
Yeah.
This is what you would type into Grok to
I
try and get this result.
Trey said, "Would y'all finally get credentials?" Yep.
Oh, dude! If Eric Musselman were the head coach at Arkansas, we'd still have credentials.
Mm-hmm.
Well, fortunately, we got them now. We just have to do three jobs to get them.
You just have to sell whole to get them.
I wasn't gonna get into the specifics of the job description.
Like giving away all of our all of our secrets.
Like that.
It's like now the world knows how to get credentialed. You just gotta
show a little.
All those people that complain about it, little did you know.
Oh my gosh, man! Yeah, that's wild stuff. Well, folks, we're wrapping up here. I mean, it's been great again being here at Splash. If you're in town, going to be in town, be here right next to the Chase Center.
The place is crazy. Dude.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah,
30,000 square feet of sports bar awesomeness. I mean, you got massive TVs, you got golf simulators, you got shuffleboards, you got TVs everywhere, mind you. Great food. Food was awesome last night. Got the grilled cheese. I remember that. I think I got
the Philly cheesesteak.
The Philly cheesesteak, yeah, which I heard was good. So
they serve their nachos. You ever had a gravy boat? They give you a queso boat for the nachos.
I know that Logan liked it because he got it last night and again today.
Dude, those are legit.
Yeah, I mean that might be the move for me tonight here because that looks amazing. So
I would say you could have some of Logan's, but it has been disposed of.
Yeah. Listen, he ain't messing around. He's got to be in he's got to make sure he is ready to roll in case somebody comes flying in on us. That's why we keep him in the background because we had so many people coming up over here while we've been doing this show trying to talk to us. He's like, you're not on the list here. He's our bouncer. He's our bouncer for that. So, yeah, man, this has been great. Any final chats? I know we had so many chats. Is there any chats I missed? Any final thought? Anything like that we need to get to?
I was going to pull this one up real quick because it was addressed at me. Tamara, we appreciate you. Says, Curtis, if we played a team that is comparable to Texas Tech or their style of play, in ways, Kentucky, in the half court, they'll remind you a little bit of Kentucky because, like, what does Kentucky lack? They lack a guy who can really break you down off the bounce and create his own, but they run their stuff really well and they create really good shots, right? Texas Tech is very similar from that standpoint. The difference is Kentucky plays at a way faster pace. Like they're one of the faster tempo teams in the country. Texas Tech is not. They're very deliberate in what they do on the offensive end of the floor. But that would be like kind of a quick comp because it's a team that doesn't have a lot of the home run individual talent, although Toppin is kind of a go-to guy for him, but he's a forward, so it's a little bit different. But the tempo is crazy there. They shoot a lot of threes, hit a lot of threes, that kind of team. Trying to think off the top if there would be anybody else that would.
I like what Sharkensaw said here because I was trying to think of some teams earlier. Mizzou, in a weird way, what's Tech's volume compared to Mizzou 3-point? Like I feel like Mizzou probably shoots a little bit more threes, but Mizzou
Maybe.
In terms of like the high octane offense.
But when I think Mizzou, I'm on the same thing as Kentucky, where it's like both those teams play so fast, and Texas Tech doesn't. But you're right, like with the 3-point barrage that they'll kind of put on you is crazy. So Tech plays at their tempo is 262nd in the country, but they shoot a lot of threes. 44.9% of their shot attempts are threes.
Wow.
Texas Tech.
Wow.
That's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, and again, Bama also plays at a much higher pace as well, but they're actually weirdly enough, like they kind of have pieces of a lot of of teams that Arkansas has faced. Weirdly enough, I know we said it's crazy, but like South Carolina a little bit, with the Colin Murray Boyles, they're a little bit different, but it's like that kind of situation.
That is the thing that's kind of it's weird because honestly, it's a really good roster construction because you have your two best players are your 4 and your 5, and they're surrounded by just a bunch of dudes that spray it.
Yep.
From 3.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
Like
it's
a foolproof idea.
Yeah, they're a tough cover, man. They really are.
All right. Any final thoughts?
My final thoughts are Woo Pig, and as of right now, as of today, I'm trying to find out how I'm going to go about the fact that I know in my heart Arkansas is going to win tomorrow, but I picked against Arkansas in their last NCAA tournament game. It went well. I think I have to pick Tech to beat them 91-53. Like, I kind of think I have to do that.
You got to get carried away.
You can make it at least somewhat realistic.
The graphic's going to look so funny tomorrow. But
Oh man, you're gonna get tarred and feathered. They're gonna run you out on a rail.
Typo.
But I need y'all to know that, like,
Yeah.
no matter what is on that graphic tomorrow, like, there's not a chance in hell that Texas Tech beats this Arkansas team. Like, literally, they could play 300 times. There is not a chance in hell Texas Tech beats them.
We heard it here first. It's not gonna happen. I will say though, if Arkansas does, or when they do, beat Texas Tech tomorrow, you're just gonna have to. The one team that Arkansas does own in their sports is Texas Tech, because they'll just own them in every sport.
Texas Tech football doesn't get enough disrespect for losing that bowl game. Like, Arkansas, we acknowledge the effort. Tech has no business losing.
Yeah, and the only game that Texas Tech won in football is when they had a guy named Patrick Mahomes as their quarterback. Okay, so that was like a cheat code, but still, got to get to a super chat. Kate says, if we win the Natty, any chance the baby will be named John L. Wilkerson or named after a different hog?
Well, I'm going to work on it. I'd have a better chance, I think, with Nelly. Because of
thinking
Nelly
that's
the
not John
Razorback
L,
and
yeah.
Nelly the St. Louis, which is where the love between me and Michelle really blossomed. You know, we took it to the next level. Might be able to work that in there.
We could stretch that one into something that makes sense. So let's see. I just don't really know what to say to some of these comments that are ending in this chat, but I think that that's just a good note to end on.
What the hell?
It's a good one to end on. So
we had a great time here at Splash.
Had a great run, and we'll be back out here tomorrow, folks. So if you're here in San Francisco looking for an awesome spot before the game, we're going to be streaming at noon tomorrow Pacific time right here. And we'll also be back here for Pot at the Palace post-game show around 9:30-ish, depending on when the game gets over with. But it'll also be happening right here at Splash Sports Bar here in San Francisco. And that's going to do it for us. We really appreciate, again, everyone's patience with us and locking in with us, because I know we have always a lot of different crazy scheduling going on right now. But that ends tomorrow and even kind of maybe Friday, because we're going to be getting a little bit more smooth sailing after all of that. So we're going to get it done. We're going to have some fun, and we appreciate all of you locking in to Inside Arkansas. So that'll do it for us. For Andrew Ellis and Curtis Wilkerson, I am John Neighbors. Same sports show, same sports channel, tomorrow at noon, live from Splash Sports Bar here in San Francisco. Have a great rest of your night, everybody. We'll see you then.